Good morning, customer care team, and happy Friday. I wanted to take a minute to reach out to everybody, certainly post the town hall meeting. It was a good time to really check in anyway with everybody, but especially after last night's call, I wanted to just have kind of a be real moment with you, which if you've met or spoken with me, I think you probably already caught on that that's kind of my MO. So don't expect any BS from me or placating or rainbows and unicorns. I am very much a realist and tell it like it is person. But with that being said, I'm also ultimately very optimistic and hopeful person. So anyway, I wanted to touch base with you and just to share with you a little bit, a few things, and also to touch base on the call yesterday, right? So this is my second, I think, town hall-esque type of meeting. I think what the other one I attended was the engagement call, and then this was an official like town hall meeting, obviously. And I had the opportunity to actually attend in person because I was right down the street from Manchester, so I was able to go in there. In any case, I wanted to first acknowledge that for me personally, it does sting a little bit when you continue to hear some negativity around the care center, right? And I thought about it a lot last night. One, I wanted, first of all, I get it, and I wanted to let you know that I feel your pain. I mean, I felt the wind taken out of my sails a little bit, to be honest with you, and also didn't appreciate the question that was like, make sure customer care knows how to look up inventory and the difference between a stocked item and a vendor special order item. Obviously, you guys know that stuff, so we'll work at getting those types of kind of petty things filtered out of those meetings going forward, because ultimately I don't think they're very helpful, and they're not really accurate. I don't think that this whole department needs a retraining on the inventory. You guys are all seasoned inside sales representatives that were, just a few months ago working in the branch. So anyway, I want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge how the meeting might have made you feel. Certainly, I was feeling a little, it stung a little bit, honestly, because I think that we are working so hard, and it would just be great if everybody could rally and be positive. But that's not the world we live in, and it's not just Harvey. It's the human race, right? Couple of things I don't want to miss. So I want to look at my notes. I do want to reassure you there is absolutely no plan on moving, not going forward with the customer care department. I think that Mark made a point to stress that. I want to stress it too. I wouldn't be here if there was any discussion about not moving forward with this. A lot of people believe in us. Okay, a lot of people are supportive of us and appreciate the work that we're doing. Yes, we are still seeing some negativity both internally and externally, but that is not the majority, right? So the majority of staff and customers now understand what we're doing and believe in what we're doing. So keep that in mind, even if you have to write that on a Post-it note and put it at your desk, just keep that in mind. So there's no plan to downsize the department. Mark talked about some things in the works and maybe having us be the backup, and I think that sparked some concern in people's minds. And the reality is we need to look at putting in measures right now that are going to help us cope with the call volume, especially a couple months from now. We're at the height of our busy season, right? So they are really looking creatively at ways that they can that we can better as a company satisfy the call volume. Okay, these are interim solutions to help us all manage the amount of calls that we're getting. All right, because we can't put all the structure in place and get all the people hired to enable us to handle that call volume ourselves right now. So what can we do in the meantime? Okay, so keep that in mind when we're talking about having us be backup and things like that, and having the branches be the priority. This is really trying to come up with what can we do right now to help us manage that call volume better. So customer care isn't going anywhere. If there's ever any concerns about that, please call me and we can certainly talk that out. But I just want you guys, this job is hard enough as it is. I don't want you going to bed at night thinking, am I going to have a job in the morning? I don't want anybody living in that kind of fear. I don't want to live like that, and I'm feeling very confident about our future. So if you need to be talked off the ledge, I'm your gal. Give me a call. I did write, and I probably have already said this a few times because I was kind of fired up about it. While there still might be some negativity, and I will keep saying this, both internally and with our customers, that is not the majority. Okay, keep that in mind. The majority believe in us and what we are doing. And the rest we will work towards winning over. And reality is there's probably going to be a percentage, a very small percentage of people that we never win over. And we will come up, from a customer standpoint, we can come up with creative ways to satisfy those needs. And we've done that, right, with some of our customers. So win over the majority, which we are actively doing, and then accept that there's going to be a few at the end of the day that will never embrace this this department or this this concept. First page of notes. I want to reiterate, and I think I've said this directly to most of the people, at least all the people that I met with face-to-face, just a quick overview, okay, what my priorities are. Define the role, right? Everybody is kind of doing the job in a different way. So, and I get that, right? So maybe there would lack some clarity on expectations and goals and what the role really was. Totally 100% get that. And I'm not surprised at all that people would be approaching things a little bit differently, okay? So the first and probably one of the most important things I need to do as a manager is work with you guys and other departments and come up with the definition of success for this department. Like, what are we, right? Or something that's hybrid. Are we customer service? Are we inside sales? Are we a call center? Or not a call center. So define what the role is. And as soon as we define that, then we can let everybody know, hey, this is what your job is. This is what your true role is. And then the next step would be to be having everybody performing that role in a consistent way, right? Once we get there, we can start to accurately measure performance. So once everybody's doing the job correctly, in a consistent way, in the ways that we've decided is the right way to do the job, then what really is the appropriate and feasible number of calls you should be able to handle, right? Then what is the adequate amount of admin time that a customer care person needs in order to effectively do their job, right? Define the role, then create a measure, then start to measure performance. Then we look at the data in a different way because we have that confidence that everybody's doing the job more or less the same way. The next step would be to devise a metrics and measurements program, right? Define the role, measure performance for a period of time, then roll out a metrics and measurement performance. Then the step after that is to create a career pathway. And I've been discussing, and I mentioned to quite a few of you, creating this career pathway within the customer care department that is based on tiers, and to then layer in those metrics and goals and expectations into those tiers, allowing people the opportunity to grow and develop within the customer care department, move into tiers, perhaps take on additional or different types of roles and responsibilities, perhaps make a little more money, whatever that looks like, but have it be a tiered program and then layer the metrics measurements program into that, right? I'm going to repeat it. So we first have to define the role. What the heck are we? What are we supposed to be doing? Then we need to measure our performance. Pay attention, look at all the numbers. And then from that, we should be able to glean what is appropriate, what is the right amount of calls per hour, what is the right amount of transfers that a person should be doing every day, the right amount of admin time, and all of that data will make a lot more sense once we're all on the same page. Create and roll out a metrics and measurements program, provide you feedback on your performance, measure your performance, coach you when you need it, all of that stuff, right? Layer that into a career pathway, provide opportunities to grow and develop within the customer care department. And in some cases, out of the department if that is your ultimate goal. In the meantime, and I did send a communication out yesterday, I don't think everybody on this got it, but I'll certainly make sure everyone does, but I called it watch out for. So in the meantime, I do need to communicate performance indicators, right? So one of the things that the data does tell me accurately are averages. So right now I know the average number of calls, or I know the average amount of times a person transfers a call to the branch, or the average amount of admin time. So if I see spikes or anomalies or abnormalities within that data, it might flag me to reach out to somebody and say, hey, what's up with your transfer rate? right? I noticed that it is 4 times the average for your team for the last 2 weeks straight. What's going on? Okay. It's absolutely fair and necessary for me to do that. So if you have any questions or concerns about that process, call me and talk it out with me. While we're devising this metrics and measurements program, I need to be able to reach out to you and ask questions about certain performance indicators that are sticking out in terms of the data, and to work with you and to dig in, like, why is that? Why was your admin time 4 times the typical, or 4 times higher than it usually is for you? What was going on? What were the types of calls you were handling? The complexity around the orders? These are all questions that are going to help us all really develop those fair and reasonable metrics going forward. So please be receptive. I'm not about beating people over the head, but I am going to ask questions, and I hopefully can rely on you to give me sincere feedback. One more note, one more page. In the meantime is for me to look for, so we have all these great future plans, right? You know, metrics, measurements, career pathways, defining the role, and those things do take time, right? But what about the here and now? So my brain and my days here are kind of split up into 2. The future thinking, implementing changes that are ultimately going to get us where we need to be as a department, and changes and structure that will help us provide superior service to our customers and to really exceed our customers' expectations. So that's kind of half of my job. And then the other half is in the here and now, right? Like immediate. I've been using kind of this gory term of like stuffing gauze into the open wound kind of thing, because I like to use dramatic language sometimes. So there is that need, this immediate need, like how do we stabilize our current situation? How do I make your lives easier? How do we make your jobs easier? How do I make you happier? How can I infuse some positivity and some inspiration into our current status, right? And so a couple of things, I'm always looking for ways to make immediate improvements. And couple examples, and I'll toot our horn on this a little bit, is the cash box thing, getting our own cash box, and we'll be able to work with other departments to make that happen. Obviously, I'm not doing that myself, but getting that done. The fix for the default branch is another way. Just things like that I can work towards implementing immediately. They're going to have an immediate positive impact on our day-to-day. So just so you know, I'm thinking long-term, hey, what do I need to do on the long term in terms of implementing continuous improvement and getting us to where we need to be? And in the meantime, what can I do to help make our jobs easier and to help improve the experience of our customers right now? The other thing, in addition to that, is focus on hiring, right? So hiring is one of those weird things because I have to do that immediately, but the reality is new hires aren't of as much value to us until a little bit down the road, because we all know that it takes a pretty significant amount of time to get a new hire completely onboarded and trained to the point where they're, taking their fair share of calls and are able to really contribute in a significant way. All new hires are great at every level. There's a few new hires on this call. Don't read into that. But 6 months to a year, at least right now, is kind of the standard for when we expect a new hire to be completely independent, right? So it's one of those things where I have to focus a lot of energy right now on hiring, and we are hiring, and we are focusing a lot of energy. And Linda Brown is doing a lot of work in terms of getting us great people, right? But then there's the investment of time and training, because they're ultimately going to affect us in the long term. They're part of really that long-term solution plan. So those are my notes. Of course, I wanted to end it on stay positive, right? So hearing the negativity around the customer care center, it stings a little bit, I'll be honest, but it also really, really motivates me. And I hope you feel the same way. Please keep your head in it. Please stay positive. We need to be very conscientious or aware of our own energy and what we're putting into some of our conversations, right? So I have heard and witnessed some of the camaraderie or what seems like teamwork between the customer care group and say like the branch staff. And sometimes we feel like, joining in with that negativity and kind of be like, yeah, this really sucks and customers hate us. And, that we feel like we're kind of kibitzing, or, you know, we're, I don't know, we're relating to somebody else and feeling their pain and sympathizing with them. But the reality is that is just infusing more negative energy into this. And it's just justifying that negativity. It is not doing us any favors at all. Now, we're absolutely in the position to we can infuse positivity, first of all, but we're in the position to lift somebody out of that frame of mind, right? And this is not just work related, and this may be some of my hippie ideals coming through here, but, you know, you could either kind of join somebody in their negativity and be like, yeah, man, this really sucks. Or you can say, like, you know what, it's getting better. I talk to customers all day long that are really happy with us. Whoa, okay. Why not have that be the focus? So be very conscientious of your language and your attitude around the customer care group. The ways in which you interact with our customers, and especially in the ways that you interact with other staff that are being openly negative about it. It is getting better. We have a great future ahead of us. Customers are embracing us. The majority of the customers that you deal with every day are very happy with the level of service you provide. That's all reality. So let that be the focus in your conversations with coworkers, okay? I am feeling very, very optimistic and excited and inspired every day here. You guys are a group of incredibly talented people that are very committed, that have demonstrated an incredible amount of courage to kind of jump into the unknown with this. Do not be discouraged. Keep your head in it, and the future is bright for customer care. And so if there's any question or concerns about that, please know that I am here, available via any means. Get in touch with me, and I'll certainly take the time, even if it means driving out to see you and having face-to-face time. I'm more than happy to do that. So. All right, that's it. Sorry, this probably went a lot longer. I have no idea how long I've been blabbing, but I thought it was really important to reach out to you guys because I know I was feeling a little like, I look forward to a town hall where they're like, man, customer service kicks ass, and everyone's high-fiving us, and we'll definitely get there. So don't be discouraged, okay? Thank you so much for all your hard work.